Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to explore something deeply personal and, honestly, a little bit heavy. We're actually stepping away from the usual facts and figures for a moment just to map out the human mind, specifically how we process the passage of time. So settle in, take a slow breath, and let's get ready to unpack a psychological burden that pretty much all of us carry, even if we don't always realize it.
I want you to just picture a scene with me for a second. Imagine you're sitting completely still, maybe cross-legged on the floor, right? And right behind you is this giant, towering wall calendar. But instead of looking forward to what's coming, you are staring blankly at the past. All those previous years, they're aggressively crossed out with these big, thick, black X marks. And just looking at that wall, your head starts to drop, your shoulders slump. It's just this incredibly overwhelming and melancholic realization.
Section 1. The Weight of Wasted Time.
Okay, let's dive into this. When we talk about wasted time, we aren't just talking about some fleeting thought that pops into your head. We're talking about a visceral, exhausting burden. Imagine trying to walk forward into your future, but you're constantly looking backward over your shoulder. And around your waist is a thick rope, attached to a giant, heavy burlap sack labeled clearly, wasted time. Every single time you try to take a step, your arms tense up, your muscles strain, and you are forced to physically drag the regret of chasing things that simply didn't matter. You are putting in immense effort, but you're barely moving an inch.
And the crazy part is, while you're dragging that heavy sack, the world around you doesn't just stop. Suddenly you feel surrounded by these glowing, floating digital clocks, and they are spinning backward rapidly. It's dizzying. The clock is ticking faster and faster, and you get this sinking, terrifying feeling that you're being left completely behind. It triggers this paralyzing fear of making another wrong move. You end up just sitting at a desk, staring down at a blank piece of paper, gripping a pen so tightly your knuckles literally turn white. You're completely frozen in hesitation, terrified of writing the next chapter because you're so anxious about an unwritten future.
Which brings us to Section 2, the paralysis of regret.
And that paralysis, it is pure claustrophobia. Imagine feeling completely trapped inside a massive glass hourglass. You're standing there, and the sand is slowly but very surely piling up around your ankles, and then your knees. You're tapping your hand against the cold glass, just feeling completely helpless. You're physically watching your life, your time, literally slip away and bury you. It's like being locked inside a prison built entirely out of your own past choices.
And when you feel like you've already ruined your story, breaking out of that hourglass doesn't even really help. Why? Because you immediately enter the cycle of indecision. You step out onto a path, but quickly find yourself at a crossroads that splits into 10 different directions. Up above you are these tangled, confusing road signs pointing everywhere and nowhere all at once. You tilt your head up, surveying this massive web of contradictory directions, scratching your head, feeling completely lost. When you are convinced your past is a failure, finding the confidence to know exactly where to start next feels absolutely impossible.
But let's say you do pick a direction. You try to force your way forward, right? You start trying to climb up a steep, difficult hill. But there's a major problem. A giant, heavy stone padlock is chained directly to your ankle, and carved right into that stone are the words "past mistakes." Every single attempt you make to move upward, to better yourself, just drags you aggressively back down. It's not just a lack of motivation here. It's the pure, draining fatigue of being weighed down by the ghost of everything you haven't achieved yet.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how we internalize all of this exhaustion. Eventually, you stop looking at the road and you look in the mirror. You raise your hand to the glass, and your reflection moves in somber, perfect synchronization. But the reflection you see isn't the vibrant person you expect it to be. Instead, it's an older, slouched version of yourself, a version radiating disappointment and deep failure. The gap between your expectations and your reality becomes a mirror you simply cannot bear to look into anymore.
And the result of looking in that mirror? Complete mental overwhelm. You curl up into a tight ball on the floor. Above your head, these dark, abstract thought bubbles materialize. Inside them are violent scribbles, swirling slowly, mirroring a completely chaotic mind. It's just this endless, deafening loop of what-ifs. It's bitter self-blame. It is swirling mental clutter and chaotic, paralyzing self-doubt that builds and builds and builds until the noise is absolutely unbearable.
Actually, let's just take a breath. What if you could just stop?
Section 3, the reset button. So, the crucial point I want to make here is this.
The reset button is not a physical object. It's a psychological tool. Imagine slowly lifting your head up from that tight, overwhelmed ball on the floor. And right in front of you, sitting on a small pedestal, is a glowing red button. Your expression shifts. The sadness kind of fades into this faint, undeniable curiosity. See, this button represents the active, psychological choice to stop blaming yourself, to unchain that padlock, to drop the heavy burlap sack. It's the profound realization that the heavy weight of yesterday only exists because you are actively choosing to carry it today.
It really all comes down to a shift in perspective. You can't change the crossed-out calendar, and you obviously can't reverse the sand in the hourglass. But you do control the narrative you tell yourself right now. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you looking directly at that glowing red pedestal. If all the exhaustion, all the anxiety, and the paralysis of regret are ultimately just heavy constructs of your own mind, what if you could erase the psychological weight of yesterday, right now, with a single choice?